Hi, everybody. This is another episode of We Are M&R. This is Tom Trimmingham. I'm the Marketing Communications Manager at M&R Companies. And I have with me today, I have Chris Tanner, who's our Regional Sales Manager covering the Northwest Territories and also Canada. And I also have as a guest Kevin Price. He's the President of RBDigital, dealer distributor up in the Northwest, I believe in the Canada territories as well. So to open, we wanted to have our discussion just to talk about some of the things going on up in Canada. And why don't you start, Kevin, if you don't mind, telling me a little bit about RB Digital.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Yeah, RB Digital, we have 5 offices across Canada: Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto, Montreal. We've been in the apparel business since about 1948, supplies to apparel, but we've been in business in Canada since 1864. It's one of Canada's oldest companies. And we, as I said, we have the offices across Canada. We represent what we consider to be the finest lines of equipment for apparel, both manufacturing and decoration. Names like M&R, Tajima on embroidery, Brother on sewing, and many other very, very high-end products. That's what we do. We're distributors for the trade.
Wow, that's great. I didn't realize you guys were that old of a company to say. That's pretty impressive. So Chris, you've been up in Canada for a while now. What are you hearing and seeing in regards to your territories up in Canada?
Yeah, right now Canada is being locked down, definitely in the province of Quebec and Ontario, for at least I'm hearing the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I think that we're kind of anticipating that going to the West Coast as well.
Yeah, the lockdown actually is in Ontario and Quebec, and also in several of the maritime provinces, the smaller provinces on the East Coast. And we are anticipating that the provincial governments, which are like your state governments, will actually start to implement the same stay-at-home orders. So that's where we're at. We as a company, as on Friday, felt that it was best for our employees to stay at home with their families, and we put a skeleton staff on across Canada this week, and we're kind of going as we get more information, trying to serve our customers as best as we can by having limited deliveries of inks and supplies, and we'll see how it goes at the moment. But we do believe it's going to get tighter over the next 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's definitely rough for everybody. Are you able to ship either parts or products right now, or is that limited as well?
No, we are able to ship. Our couriers are still coming in, which is key. The main couriers are still coming in, and we're asking customers to either email us or contact us so that we can prepare orders as we can and ship, or we're open from 10 till 2 every day. We do like to know that people are coming, so that we can prepare for them ahead of time, and we can transfer the goods to them in a way that we have limited human contact. We're literally, if somebody calls an order in, we're getting it prepared, doing the paperwork, and putting up in the front of the office, and then letting them in and taking it and leaving, so that our interactions are limited.
Okay, all right. And then Chris, what are you hearing from other companies or distributors up in Canada or Northwest Territories right now? Is it by territory for the most part, or is it pretty universal that everything's pretty closed down?
Yeah, basically in all the areas that I cover, which is the Northwest and Canada, it's mostly the same story. Everybody's getting locked down to some extent, and everything is just on an emergency only basis right now.
Yeah, okay. And I wanted to ask you, Kevin, real quick. Are you giving any customers advice if they're being shut down? Do you guys have recommendations on either things that they do with their equipment or different stuff like that? Do you guys have any tips for customers that all of a sudden are affected and they have to be outside of their company for a little while?
Yeah, you know what? Probably the equipment that is the most sensitive in this area is the inkjet type of equipment. The traditional screen print equipment is perfectly fine to be left for a period of time, but it's anything that uses a modern inkjet head that is actually the most sensitive to being shut down. We are when customers are calling in and asking us how and the best methods to do that, we're giving them information. We're trying to give them appropriate information that they can actually shut their equipment down for a period of time. We do recommend still maintenance on some of this equipment, and which means coming in at least once a week into their shops, whether they're owner-operated shops or they have supervisors to come and just run a maintenance schedule on this equipment, just to keep the equipment operating properly, so that when everything starts to roll open again, they can come in and effectively start to run their businesses.
Okay, yeah, I think that's important because if people don't plan correctly for this, then obviously they're going to have more problems when we're finally through it. I was thinking I was going to ask Chris real quick in regards to if people are having some technical issues or technical concerns. What do you usually where do you direct them to contact in regards to M&R, or are you telling them to call the
Yeah,
main service number?
right now we have, we have technicians available by phone for sure. So if you have any equipment technical questions, or if you're trying to troubleshoot something, I had Colin at Lone Mountain yesterday was looking at some issues on his machine while he has some downtime to be able to fix some of those things. That might be something that people are looking to do right now, but I have PDFs with instructions on how to properly shut down any digital equipment that you might have, whether that be an iMage, a digital squeegee, a Maverick, so on and so forth. I personally have that information, so if you need it and you don't have it, send me an email. I can get that to you.
Yeah, we'll link
Um,
your email in the bottom of this, and I'll make sure I'll link Kevin's contact information as well. And then
Sure.
and then in regards to, I'm sure there's other digital equipment you guys probably represent too, Kevin, that you might want to, if you have information available or if you want to give directions to us, we can put that in the description of this video near the bottom on YouTube so people can have a little bit more information. What in regards to starting up again, once this is, I mean, I'm going to be optimistic here, but I feel okay doing that. When people are getting ready to start up again after they may have shut down their equipment, is that also something that you guys have information regarding? Is there stuff that people are going to need to do in regards to that? Kevin,
Actually,
you want to speak to that?
yeah, actually starting up, if you maintain the equipment properly during the shutdown, starting up is easy. Starting up would be just the equivalent of coming in on a Monday morning. In a lot of the equipment that are inkjet, it means, reshaking cartridges, making sure your ink flow is properly, and just getting the machine, running the maintenance on the machine, and getting going if everything is done properly during maintenance. So starting up is something that we all look forward to. We hope to that's not that far away.
Okay, okay. And then I guess one other question is supply chain wise, what are you seeing, Kevin, as far as, are there certain supplies that are, being, I guess, restricted more, or you have more concerns about than others? Is there stuff that people should be maybe even getting a little bit of, in advance in case that it might run short? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so our supply chains, when we look at our 4 or 5 major manufacturers, some of them have been shut down. Some are in California, and they've actually been forced to shut down the warehouses. And we actually have a fair amount of supplies in our warehouses across Canada. We have the 5 warehouses. And so right now, we're okay. Yeah, I would suggest that depending on the length of this problem, it could, after probably another 2 months, it could be a problem. But I suggest we're okay right now, and customers should have enough supplies in-house to properly maintain their equipment, and that's something that they need to consider. And we will be open for this week across where we can. The offices that can be open legally are still open, and we can ship across Canada. and people should consider what will they need for the next probably 4 to 8 weeks, just to make sure. We're also looking at implementing a system where we do not open the offices that are closed, but possibly try to come in every so often and do some shipments. So this is a very fluid situation that we're also trying to learn and get through. But on the supply side, I think we're okay for a while in Canada.
Okay, and then Chris, I was just going to ask you just briefly if what's the easiest way for somebody to get a hold of you? Email, phone, if they have questions or if they have concerns in regards to equipment in your territory.
Yeah.
What's the simplest way to
Yeah.
do it?
Either email, text message, or phone. They're all three really good options. They're all tied to my phone, so it's all good.
All right, they'll get you one of those ways, right? And then, but currently you're not able to actually physically visit customers. Is that correct in saying that, or are there some that you still can?
I mean, yeah, basically no.
Yeah, yeah, and are they currently saying that order might has to be reassessed or lifted? Do you know? Is it the
We're just taking it day by day right now.
okay, okay. Well, today is the 25th of March, so we'll definitely need to reconnect in a little while and see what we can do. Kevin, is there anything else you want to share before we sign off here, in regards to how people can either still connect with you, or if they're struggling and they need something? Is there a good way to connect with you guys, or do you have a preference right now?
So I would suggest that to connect with our people is to email or text your salesperson in a particular territory, and relay your information to them. They'll also throw that up the chain to all the managers who are in the area. We also have one email address that we've created called info, that's info at rbdigital.ca. That email gets distributed to all of our senior staff to take care of any outstanding problems. I would like to conclude in saying that this is a scary time for all employees, for customers, and for our families. And at times we're quite worried. We know, as a company that's so old, 150 plus years old, that we've been through 2 wars. We've been through the Great Depression, and we've been through 9/11 and the recession of '08 and other issues. And we've always come through. We plan on coming through this one equally as well, so that we can service our customers and our staff when we do come out of this. So it is scary, but we just have to keep working hard to keeping physically and mentally fit throughout this process, and to maintain as good a positive attitude as we can. That's all I can say.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I really appreciate it. And I think that the more information we can give people, the better. And yeah, everybody just stay healthy and safe out there. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot.